Bob, you're always saying that you're out here walking every day, plus all of the other things. Well, what are all those other things? We're going to talk about that today. Hello everyone, Semi-Retired Bob here. I talk about the Carnivore Diet, all things related to the Carnivore Diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. We are going to talk about all the other stuff that I do. First off, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. What you're watching is basically you're watching me walk. I try to find interesting things to talk about, but I'm just out here walking because I can. Almost 21 months ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for 2 to 2.5 minutes without severe pain. Now I'm out here walking every day, plus doing lots of other stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But the whole purpose of this channel is to show you that it's never too late to change your life. I'm 60 years old. And I'm doing things now that I couldn't do when I was 40. So help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. How about giving me a thumbs up? Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." Consider subscribing if you haven't already. All these things that are absolutely free help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here as well. It means an awful lot to me that you choose to spend just a few moments of your day with me. Oh. I always have to kind of work to get up this first hill. But it is not as warm as it's been, but it is about 40 degrees out. There's a little wind blowing, which is a little on the cold side. According to my phone, the feels like temperature is 32 out here. But it's just the wind. So I've got my heavy flannel shirt, a t-shirt, and my hiking base layer underneath that, which helps block the wind. And I'm not wearing my big heavy mittens today, just my blue gloves, because my fingers do get a little cold at these temperatures. But anyway, let's jump right on into this stuff. What are some of the other things that I've been doing? Now, not recently because it's winter time in Nebraska, but I do all of my own yard work. And if you go back and watch, you'll find several videos of me not only trimming the bushes on the side of the house, but during the time after my heart surgery until now, I was hiring lawn service because I couldn't get out and do it. And let's just say they did not do a fantastic job of controlling the weeds that grow in the fence line. And if you go back and look, you'll find several videos of me hacking those weeds down with loppers, cutting them up and putting them out for the trash service to take away. I've been going to the YMCA 4 days a week. 2 days a week. Oh, there's the wind in the face. But I've been going to the YMCA 4 days a week. 2 days a week I walk as hard as I can for a half hour in chest deep water, which is my good resistance walking. And 2 days a week I do about a 20-minute workout on the cable machine, primarily just working on the shoulders to get my shoulder motion strengthened up. Because when I was when I had my heart surgery, as most of you know that you've been watching the channel for a long time, my sternum never really felt like it healed. And I spent that 5 years from the end of my heart surgery recovery until I started the Carnivore Diet, not really lifting more than 4 or 5 or 6 pounds, because anytime I'd try to lift something heavier, it would feel like my chest was going to blow apart because my sternum just wasn't healed. It is still deformed, but at least it feels solid enough now that I'm now working on some of those muscles that had atrophied. Now, Bob, why are we talking about this today? Well, we're talking about this today because it's all part of the 1% better. And the example I will use for getting 1% better to show you where you are where you might be right now to where you could be 6 months to a year from now. Again, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that last winter down in North Carolina, I started doing wall push-ups, which is just where, I stood 1.5 feet or so away from the wall, leaned into the wall, and then pushed myself away from the wall with my arms. And then when it didn't feel like I was getting much out of that, I moved on to the kitchen counter in the church and was doing push-ups there. Again, still not what you'd call a push-up, but because of where I had started, that was still quite a good workout. And then when I got home this spring, I started on one of my dining room chairs, the back of it, and then got the bright idea to look over, to move over to the stairs. And I started with my feet on the ground and my hands planted on the 4th step up. And that's where I did my push-ups. And I slowly, over the course of the last 6 months, 7 or 8 months now, I think, slowly worked my way down the stairs, and now I'm doing actual regular push-ups on the floor. Still a little hard to get up and down off the floor, but once I'm down there, I'm not having any trouble moving. All of this is to show you, I did my push-ups before I came out for the walk today. I did 40 in the first set, and it was 33 or 34 in the second set, which is enough. I'm not quite to 100 a day when I do push-ups, but I'll get there eventually.
Oh, it's nice out. I wish I had the energy to go for
One of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today, as I'm sure you've all seen, there's been a lot of talk on the internet between Dave Mack's channel and Dr. Baker and all the others. There's this new report on a certain weight loss drug out there. And one of the big places that actually uses this has been studying their patients a little bit. And in some cases, not all of them as I understand it, but in some cases, up to 70% of their so-called weight loss was muscle mass. That doesn't seem like a good thing. But I'm here to tell you that regardless of your age, regardless of where you started in your physical fitness journey. Because remember, I was in fairly good shape 40 years ago when I was in the Army. They actually had physical standards you had to keep up with. But then slowly over time, my health deteriorated, my muscle mass deteriorated. I was never what you'd call jacked to begin with, because I was a company clerk. I spent most of my days in the Army sitting at a desk. And then after the heart surgery is when I really noticed that my muscle mass was, what little bit I had was just disappearing on me. And that's not a good thing. When you get to be my age, as many of you that watch my channel are, you got to be careful of sarcopenia, which will catch up to you so fast and make you a frail old person. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a frail old person. I want to be able to live my best life. So even if your starting point today is doing wall push-ups for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's all you can handle, know that getting 1% better every day, or in this case, as Professor K and Jonathan over at Carnivore Muscle and Coach Bronson recommend, whatever exercises you choose to do, and you should find things that you enjoy doing. Because just like we talked about with food a week ago or so, if you don't find exercises that you enjoy, you won't stick with them. Can you guys hear those birds? I'm not going to say it's a beautiful spring day in Nebraska because it's still just the first week of February. But it's nice to hear all those birds singing. And one of the things I enjoy are these walks that I take. I started off doing the walking challenge last September. Not the most recent one, but it would have been September 1st of 2022. I thought it'd be a cute idea to record a video while I was doing my walking to make a walking challenge. And now that's sort of become my thing. And I really enjoy being out here walking. Not just because I couldn't do this 21 months ago, although that is a big part of it. I'm stepping off and stopping here because there's somebody else coming this way. And
thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing well.
Talking to my YouTube channel. But I really enjoy being out here in nature. Now, granted, I'm in the city limits here. It'll be even more out in nature when I get down to Texas, and after it warms up just a little bit more, I'm hopeful to get over to the parks and do some walking in the parks here. We'll see how that goes. It happens really fast around here. You have a little bit of a spring, you start to think about going to the park, and then all of a sudden it's miniature golf season and I got to go back to work. So we'll see. But I really enjoy hearing those birds singing this morning. I just enjoy being out here. It was a challenge in the weather of January, but for the most part, I enjoy being out here walking. So when you pick what exercises you're going to do, don't just pick ones that you say, oh, I don't really enjoy that because I know it's good for me. Pick things that you like to do. If walking is your thing, then incorporate walking. If swimming is your thing, then incorporate swimming. Maybe you enjoy just walking up and down the steps in your house, which for those of us in this age group, that can be real exercise. But whatever it is, make sure you pick things that you enjoy so that it's more of a I get to go out and walk attitude rather than it's time to go out and walk. I'm not going to say that never happens to me, because it does still. But for the most part, I feel pretty good about getting outside to walk every day. So I think that I've probably talked enough for now. You get the idea of what I was trying to say. I'll have a few more closing thoughts when I get back up to the house. But for now, I want to go ahead and flip the camera around so that you can watch my walk and see how there's a few little pockets of snow melting where it was really piled up, but for the most part, the snow here is gone. So let's go ahead and cue the music. Okay, cut the music. Thank you. One other quick note on push-ups. before I get into the couple other things that I'm doing, when you're on the steps, after you get set up, make sure you kind of push your hips forward to make sure your back is flat, and then look up at, if you're, say your hands are on the third step, look up between the fourth and fifth step with your head tilted up. That'll give you a much better alignment of your back to make sure you don't injure yourself while you're doing those push-ups. But a couple of the other things I'm doing, besides taking tap dance class, because I want to get better at that overall, I have been, besides doing my sprints, I don't sprint up the sidewalk because I've never been good at running. I just haven't been. I'm afraid I'll fall and go splatter on the sidewalk. So the sprints I've been doing, I have been sprinting by doing 35 to 45 seconds of jumping jacks as hard and fast as I can go. Take a little break and do another 35 to 40 seconds. And on top of all that, I just do jumping, not heavy jumping, not high up in the air trying to jump as high as I can, but just like little hops. First I'll do it on 2 feet, then I'll do 1 foot, then I'll do the other. These are not sprint style like the jumping jacks. These are just doing a minute to a minute and a half in each of the 3 things to build ankle and calf strength. But remember, just when you're deciding what exercises to do, pick ones that you enjoy so that you can continue to enjoy them while you're out doing it. If you're doing something just because it's really good for you but you don't like doing it, not only are you not going to stick with it, but you're going to be miserable on the days you do stick with it. So pick things you like to do. I hope some of what I said today made sense. It's Monday. Everybody have a great week. We're kicking it off to a good start with that 1 lap around the big block, which is about 1.5 miles. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.